COP28 brought together an estimated 100,000 politicians, scientists, and advocates from around the world, including one grade 11 student from Sherwood Park. Shelby Hartman was one of just 4 Canadian students invited to contribute to the discussion, and she's joining me now. So, Shelby, you not only attended COP, but you also did presentations there, and we have a video that your dad took of that.
I've experienced the effects of climate change within my country through the poor air quality due to smoke, heat waves, dramatic changes in temperature, late snowfalls, and early snow melts. These events have dramatically affected my ability to explore what the Canadian wilderness has to offer, and are all due to climate change. As I mentioned before, I am many things: an athlete, student, and a Canadian. And most importantly, I'm here to present our manifesto demands, the demands of us, the demands of the children.
Wow, that is so cool. How many people were there? What was that like?
I think there was around 200, and that was just very bizarre to me because I have never been, I don't present, you don't really present much in front of that big of crowds in high school. And it was just absolutely bizarre to look out in the crowd and see all these kids and important people, and you're just looking at them and you're like, oh, great, there's all these people staring at me. It was very weird to think about how many people were actually listening to me talk.
Well, that's amazing, and you sounded great. And you were there at COP as a part of #Decarbonize, which is led by the Center for Global Education. It brings together students from all over the world, 20 different countries. What was it like to meet those other students?
It was really enlightening because it was really weird to figure out how very different all our countries were, but how very similar our problems were. There was girls from the girl from Kenya and the girl from Argentina found out that they had such similar issues in their countries, and they were practically across the world. It was just so weird to think about how countries across the world have experienced the same issues.
That's certainly something, you don't really think about until you're presented with it. And you were doing a lot of presentations. What was the message your group wanted to put out?
We wanted to put out the message that educating our youth, educating the public about climate change and everything around it, and just knowledge, because it's really hard to act on what you don't know.
And so you were obviously there with other students, but we talked about how there are politicians, scientists. Who else did you see when you were in Dubai?
Oh my goodness. We saw the leader of, I believe the president of the NDC board, which is I met a bunch of other the people who negotiate at COP. I met someone, I think the Canadian one, and I feel like I met another one. I can't remember what country they were from yet. And I met a lot of the representatives from the parties of the countries, which was absolutely fascinating. And I met a few researchers that were working on their PhD around climate change and youth movements. It was absolutely fascinating to meet them.
I feel like just listening to you, it might be hard to pick a favorite part of the COP experience, but for you, what was it?
My personal favorite was definitely meeting everyone else and just seeing how everything about us is so different, but yet so similar, because we're all from all around the world, and we're all from different countries, and we all have different experiences, but we're all still teenagers, and we're all still here for the same reason.
How important is it for teenagers like yourself to go to events like this, like COP?
Well, I think it, first of all, introduces a fresh perspective about we kind of think about decision making as just you just make a decision, and it kind of brings a complexity to the issue. And then it also is really important because we are the future, and it's our voice that's are going to matter in the end. So it's really important for us to be part of the discussion in COP and all the other conferences like that.
Okay, so I know you were in Dubai to go to COP, but can you go to Dubai without sightseeing? Did you do some sightseeing? What did you see?
Well, I saw one of the world's biggest malls. So I went to the Dubai Mall. I got lost a few times. It was not fun. I went to the world's tallest tower. That one was absolutely, oh my goodness, it was so crazy to me because I thought all the towers here were so tall. And then I looked up and I was like, oh, nope. It's not that tall. And then I did some sightseeing within COPs because there was some absolutely fascinating architecture. So
And we were just seeing some of the things that you saw, and they all look so amazing. But now you're back at home in Edmonton. Well, I guess home is Sherwood Park for you, but what's next?
What's next is definitely sharing what I learned with other people in like my school, adults, just everyone I can talk to about it, and just continuing like the message that kids need to know, like that little actions do make an impact. Like just going to COP and talking to one person could change like crazy things. So it's really important to just talk to people, just your little tiny actions, and like tell people your little tiny actions that you do in your daily life do actually make an impact.
And do you have any advice for, maybe kids who are watching who might want to do something like a go to COP besides those little tiny actions, or is that the best place to start?
The best place to start is always just little actions, because if you try to take too big of a step, you just fall flat on your face because you're still a kid. Like, you're amazing just for being a kid and just doing things that adults do.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience at COP, and welcome back home.
Thank you.